Northwest National Haunted Attraction Industry Trade Show. So register now at fearexpolive.com.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fear Expo's Haunt Masterclass series, and happy Friday the 13th Eve. That's right. It is Thursday the 12th, and I am super excited to be welcoming you to tonight's live stream of the Fear Expo Haunt Masterclass series. I am, of course, Keone Hutton of the Haunting You podcast, and I am super excited to be your host tonight as we welcome a very special guest to talk about their super exciting products. Without further ado, we will just bring them right in. This is, of course, Michael and Erin McCann, the Panic Mechanics themselves. Welcome.
Hi, guys. How is everyone tonight?
I am doing fantastic. How about yourself?
We're good. Got a little bit of beer. Beer's always good.
Beer is good, especially when you're going live. It is the best way to clear the nerves and make sure the conversation is nice and stimulating.
Yes.
So we just want to jump right into it. You are the Panic Mechanics. You make replica skulls and bones out of resin. It is some of the coolest products that I got to see at Fear Expo and got to play with and touch and hold. And like, I'm super excited to talk to you about this. Before we get into it, though, I want to find out a little bit about you guys. Tell us a little bit about your background, how you got started in the haunted attraction industry. Let us behind the curtain a little.
All right. Well, Michael and I have always been interested in Halloween. Our families always did up the front yard. We always did costumes, makeup, the whole thing. Like, we were always Halloween families, both of us. In college, I actually ended up interviewing a group that he was with for the newspaper that the college had.
I was my organization was called the Alton Undead, and it was basically like an artist supporting artists type of a group where we would go and promote for bands and dress as zombies to hand out flyers, kind of a DIY type of marketing. And we helped out with like local films, doing lighting, sound, providing actors, and we would also have the showings of the premieres of the movies as well. And we were always really excited about doing a Halloween float in the Halloween parade in Alton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that was actually how I got the interview with these guys, was talking about the parade and just all of the little charitable events that they would do, stuff like that. And then the following year, I was like, this is cool as hell. I want to be a part of this. And so I joined up with the Alton Undead, and Michael and I actually got assigned to build the float that year. And so we ended up actually spending pretty much every day together solid for at least a month, right? And we were either going to hate each other's guts or fall madly in love. And fortunately, the latter happened. And then, it was what, a year or two later? Probably a year or two later, one of our friends came to us and was like, hey, I just bought all of the props and stuff from this haunted house that closed. Do you guys want to do a haunted house with me? And we were like, hell yeah, we want to do a haunted house. And so the Apocalypse was born.
Dive a little. I was going to say, dive a little deeper into that. Tell us about the Apocalypse.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, I will. The Apocalypse, we actually, the first year we had it was in a big warehouse that was batting cages, but like the netting rolled up out of the way. So that was our first year. Every year after that, we were actually in the YWCA in Alton, which is a massive historical building that seems to be actually legitimately haunted.
It was kind of annoying.
It was kind of annoying.
We had to station somebody with a flashlight in front of a door that kept opening.
And this was a heavy ass oak door from like 1918 or something like that. And yeah.
What was the person with the flashlight supposed to do?
Keep the door closed.
Close the door again, because we didn't want people to go through that. The door led to our makeup room. And the hallway next to it was part of the haunted house. And so the door to our makeup room kept opening on its own, even though whenever we wanted to open it, you had to like put your shoulder into the dang thing.
It required serious force to open that door.
So it was kind of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But yeah, our haunt ran for 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah. 5 years. It was awesome. We were really well known in the community. Every year was getting bigger and bigger. We had buses coming in from various locations. And then, unfortunately, Illinois, which is where our haunted house was, changed their fire safety regulation laws. And our grandfather building no longer counted as a grandfather building. So we, unfortunately, were not going to be able to afford to get up to the code that they required.
It was extremely
what was it going to
expensive.
be? It was like $200,000 or something.
Something.
And we're like, well, I guess we're going to close. So sadly, we had to close. But
fortunately, we were already making pretty much everything in our haunt as it was.
Yeah.
And we started making a handful of products and knew that we wanted to continue making haunted house products.
And we wanted to stay in the haunt industry because we just loved it, you know.
Sure.
We created a family with our haunted house, and we didn't want to leave that behind.
Right. And so that's when we took the resin skull idea. Hand me one of those for me. Here you go. Here's one of my little raccoons. We took this idea that my raccoon was actually the first skull that I molded. And we were like, you know what? There's a lot of demand for this because there isn't really much in the industry by way of animal skulls that aren't really cheesy. And we wanted something that was really realistic. And so we decided to just run with it. And the Panic Mechanics was born.
So it sounds like it started out fairly humbly with a raccoon skull, but now you offer a wide variety of species and not just skulls either. I saw some other bones and stingray spines. And like, what's your total product line now?
So we have the raccoon, a bobcat, a fox, the black bear, he's very popular, a beaver, the stingray barbs, a fox femur. We also have a muskrat skull and a soft-shelled turtle skull.
The turtle skull was easily my favorite.
Turtle skull is definitely a favorite. And we actually just finished molding a coyote. The coyote is not actually on our website yet because we just finished it and I have to get some good photos and everything. But hopefully pretty soon we'll be able to have the coyote up there as well. We're constantly adding new species.
You're constantly adding new species. How do you add new species? When do you add new species? Like how does that process work?
So one of the events that we regularly do are the Oddities and Curiosities Expos. And there are a lot of real skull vendors there. And so we tend to shop while we're there as well. And so I make all of my molds off of a real animal skull. It's actually really tricky because I have very exacting standards when it comes to the original because it has to have all of its teeth. I'd prefer it to have its nasal turbinates. It needs to have, no damage. It needs to have its jaw with it. I always want it to have a jaw as well. And it's actually surprisingly difficult to find pristine.
I can't imagine why.
Right. It also depends a lot on how they were cleaned.
Yeah.
There are different cleaning techniques to damage the skulls.
Yeah.
And we've also fortunately found a couple sources that we can get more rare species that are ethically sourced. That's one of our biggest ones. We want to ensure that everything is ethically sourced
and perfectly legal for us to own, and all that good stuff.
Right. When we were talking at Fear Expo, you talked a little bit about like going out in the wild and finding skulls that way as well.
We did that to begin with. That's actually where we found our raccoon. So the original, this one doesn't have it, but the original raccoon that I molded was actually missing one of its molars in the lower jaw. And
so what I'm hearing is if you have a Panic Mechanic skull that's missing a molar, this one could be worth some money. It's
that is
the original.
Yes, that is one
definitely
of the original
rare.
skulls. Shortly after that, we found we ended up purchasing a raccoon skull that had all its teeth. So the original raccoon skull we found, the muskrat and the soft-shelled turtle we also found because we live right on the Mississippi River. We're right outside of St. Louis. And so a lot of times we would go fishing or stuff like that and just walk along the banks and see what we could find.
Tell us a little bit about the process of like molding the skull to all the way to the casting. Walk us through your process. What kind of effort goes into these?
A lot. So I tend to be a little bit of a perfectionist when it comes to my mold making. So I actually went to school for this. My bachelor's degree is in sculpture. And so I make all of my molds using silicone, and they're almost all 2-part molds. And so finding those sort of seam lines and making sure that those are hidden, but also make sense so that we don't get locking of the mold, is the most time-consuming part of the entire process. And it's not uncommon that I'll be working on one for hours and then be like, you know what, that's not going to work. I'm going to do this differently. Scrap and start completely over. So I lay a base of clay down, get my skull in there, create my little seam lines, pour 1/2 of the silicone, flip, remove the clay, pour the second half of the silicone, pop it open, and now you've got the cavity.
Okay.
For the most part, the skulls usually aren't, the original isn't too damaged, but it does occasionally happen that the original bone does get damaged just because bone is so incredibly fragile. But as long as I got a good mold off of it, I don't really care that much. Now I can cast as many as I want.
That's it. You only need it once.
Exactly. So
we've learned with the larger skulls that due to the nasal cavity, the detail of the nasal cavity, we're on the large skulls, we're probably going to break more than we would like to break on them. But
that surprises me, because I would think a larger skull would be more resilient.
They are to a certain degree.
But not here, apparently.
Well, not here. That's a big part of it. But also, there's a larger cavity inside of the skull where the brain would be. And so there's our black bear. Yeah, and so that region tends to be a little bit trickier just because it can crush easily under weight. And then this portion, the cheekbones, called the zygomatic arch, that also is further apart. And so that can get hooked and that can break pretty easily as well.
Sure. So after you have your the negative mold, I assume, how are you casting in resin?
We use resin. We actually use silicone as well from Biddy Mold Supply. They're super awesome. The resin that we use is a 2-part liquid plastic, just A to B by volume, and it's got a pretty quick kick time. So we tend to only cast a few skulls at a time because it kicks really fast in the pot. But yeah, just mix my 2 parts together, pour it into the hole. We do actually have a little vibration thingy. Vibration thingy.
Technical term.
Yes, that will help remove air bubbles
Sure.
quickly before the resin sets. And then it kicks and we can demold in about a half an hour.
Wow, that fast.
Yeah.
What's your, for lack of a better word, failure rate? Like, how often do you have a casting that turned out, oh shoot, there's a big old air bubble where its eye should be, or something?
I don't think we've actually calculated a rate. It's not.
Sorry, I'm an engineer. I like numbers.
So is he.
So am I, and you're calling me out.
I know.
Fortunately for most of our miscasts, we're able to use them for other things as well.
Yeah.
Whether we're putting them onto a costume piece, a lot of the times, those bubbles will end up on the back end of one of our skulls. And therefore we can do what we call the flat-backed skulls, which sit up on counters very well. Here's one of our flat backs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can see, like,
Yeah. Mounted to the wall, mounted to the table.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Attached to my forehead.
When we have a failure, it's usually still useful to us. It
Sure.
doesn't actually happen all that often, but I wouldn't say that it's uncommon. Like, I don't think it's quite rare, but it's not quite uncommon. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my.
I think it answered my question. Yeah.
Okay.
Before we jump back into it, I see Chris jumping up and down in the background. There it is. Sponsor break. We're gonna take a quick break here from our sponsor, and then we will jump right back into it. Let's see if I can do this without screwing it up, Chris. Thank you for that. If you want to be a sponsor of Fear Expo, email Chris. We got a good question here. What do your skulls cost? What's the range?
Okay, so here we go. So these are our littlest skulls. This is a muskrat. That is the soft shell turtle right there.
Or a baby dragon.
Or
if
baby
you would
dragon.
prefer.
Yes.
Yeah, let me make your screen a little bit bigger. Bring those a little closer. Okay. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So these are $30. The little ones are actually some of the trickiest to cast because they're so small. These guys, here's my bobcat. These guys are 45. With the mandible, they're 60.
Do you have to paint those after the casting? Or
yes,
is that
paint them. Yeah.
Okay.
Beaver. So all of the ones that are kind of this size range are 45 for just the cranium, 60 with the mandible. And then our black bear, he is 135 for just the cranium, 175 with the mandible. There we go. Yeah. And all of our mandibles are cast separately. So you can pose it however you want, or you can use them in 2 separate locations, whatever you want to do with them.
Have you ever tried like making a mask out of these?
We have not yet. We've had a lot of requests for that. That is something that I will probably have to sculpt.
Sure.
Which is doable and will probably happen at some point. But yeah, right now, like with my bear, you can see that he's kind of the same size as my head.
Yeah, it's almost a perfect fit.
But it's also got all of this lovely detail in the back.
Yeah.
Which would be very painful to wear.
I want to ask about that detail. When you're casting it, does all that detail get caught, or like do you have to end up cleaning it up, cleaning out extra resin, anything after the cast process?
This is all part of the mold.
Wow.
Yeah. So I might have to do like a little bit of cleanup where the seams are. But this is all these cavities. These are all part of the mold.
How much time goes into start to finish making the mold all the way until you have your first finished skull?
It depends on the species. This bad boy actually requires a mother mold. So this one has basically a silicone skin that's about yay thick. And then there's a hydrocal mother mold that goes over top of it. So I would say maybe 4 days, 5 days?
Yeah.
4 or 5 days, something like that.
Yeah, that's quite a bit of investment.
Yes.
You see, I don't know if you can see it up on the screen, Don Ledford. Do you make your molds from your resin cast, and do you sell your molds? He really wants to check you out and will be later tonight.
Okay, awesome. You know what? I've actually been asked if we sell our molds before as well. And we don't currently because
you don't want competition.
Well, actually, no, because I love what Nightmare Makers does. But one of the big differences is that like with the Nightmare Makers ones, they're generally kind of a large open cavity on the base. And so they're very easy to cast. Ours are not very easy to cast. It's taken us a few years to perfect actually pouring the resin into the opening and making sure that you get a good cast out of it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I could sell them, but I wouldn't want to do so without almost like a training course.
Yeah.
I don't want somebody to spend a lot of money buying one and then have a bunch of failed casts.
Because you don't have a vibrating thingy to get all the air bubbles out.
Yeah, exactly. And, so we've talked a little bit about that. We might do some more simplified versions in the future that we can sell molds for that just don't have quite that level of detail, but are a lot easier to cast.
Sure.
And so that's something that might happen in the future. We haven't really figured that out yet.
That's okay. You got plans for the future. I love it.
Yeah.
What really struck me when I was playing with your skulls at Fear Expo was how heavy they are. Like these are solid. You could do some damage with them.
They are, yeah. So they are solid cast. I mean, you can see with our flat back.
Tilt it down. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they are all solid cast. And therefore they do have, some ridiculous durability. One of the reasons why we actually started making these is because if you've got a real skull and you try to screw it to a wall, it's either going to fall apart more than likely. Or let's say that you just kind of set it somewhere, it's probably going to walk off. Which unfortunately, as we in the Honda industry know, that there are a lot of sticky fingers who come through our haunted houses.
Yeah, trying to make things customer proof is like the biggest challenge in my life.
Yes. And so what we wanted was something where you can drill a pilot hole through this and run a screw through it. And then it's mounted and you cannot take it off without using a screwdriver, basically.
Right.
Yeah, and so they do have some heft to them because they're built to be durable.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that we really enjoyed about creating the resin skulls was our actors wanted to play with the real ones, and after
They want to, you know.
one day or even a season, these aren't going to last an entire season. A real one wouldn't. It
Yeah.
Real
But this
one would
way,
last a few nights.
You can chomp around and chase people if you'd like.
If somebody came chasing after me, chomping with that bear skull, I would like, lose my shit. I don't know if I can say that when I'm going live. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. I had a question and then the chomping just completely drove away my mind. Thank you for that.
You know, we actually had I want to know what happened because I never heard back from him. I had somebody buy one of the raccoon skulls and he was planning on putting it on a glove.
Oh
So
my gosh, that's
Like
amazing.
turn it into a little puppet thing. And I want to know what happened with that because I never heard back from him. So I have no idea. But I hope it worked out.
Yeah, no kidding. I would love to see that. So what I don't see up on your website that you had at Fear Expo is all of the gooey ones. Why are they not on your website yet?
I thought they were. Are they not?
I don't know. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong place.
Did I do it wrong? Hold on.
If anyone else watching wants to see panicmechanics.com, you can go look for the gooey skulls too. But tell me about your gooey
I hope
skulls.
I put them on there. I really hope I did. Okay. So these are our gooey skulls.
I was wrong. They are on there.
Okay, good. All right. You
Good.
scared me. You really scared me there for a minute. I'm like, well,
I
that
got distracted by the turtle. It was right below it. Like, I'm sorry.
okay. Yeah, so these are our gooey skulls. We refer to them as the bloody skulls. They are very fleshy and gooey. We do use permablood for these guys. We're good friends.
They
with them.
look wet. Like
They do.
it looks fresh.
They look kind of slimy, but you know, they're not. And we use some kind of stringing and stuff like that to get this like nice fleshy ickiness in here.
Yeah.
and then we also have them with fur.
It's so gross.
So these are definitely favorites. I love these guys so much. Yeah, these actually premiered at Fear Expo.
Yeah.
We had not had them at any other show, and we hadn't had them online yet. So these premiered at Fear Expo. Now they are online. They are available to buy.
The furry ones do prefer to be petted.
Yes.
Oh, sure. I
Gentle.
would too.
They really enjoy it.
Gentle. Yes. Yeah, so these are some nice ooey gooey bloody ones. We do have them with mandibles as well. And those are definitely a favorite. I personally like them, and I want to see an actor in scene just like
Oh, seriously.
You know,
Yes.
just like ripping some nastiness off of there and like
Oh, I freaking love it.
yeah. Yeah, I love these bloody ones. And I don't think I have the bear up yet, but I am going to add a bloody bear pretty soon.
Awesome.
And so, yeah, as we add our species, we will also add bloody versions of our species as well.
Beyond the skulls, you've also got some other bones. You mentioned fox femur, the stingray spines. Do you have any of those handy you can show?
Yes. So this is my fox femur. I'm sure you can see them okay. I do have left and right.
Can you tell the difference?
Yeah, you got the.
I want to make you big. No, not me. Don't make me big. Make them big.
Oh, that's the same. Did you grab me opposites?
I don't know.
Michael did not grab me an opposite one.
Oh no!
That's okay. Is this one opposite? Nope, that's the same one. All right. I do actually have left and right though, I promise. Yeah, you can kind of tell because like the head of the femur, there's like
It's on the other side.
here. I don't know, anyway. But yeah, the fox femurs are great either for just kind of playing with. But we do also use them in our armor as well. Because they look good. It's a good size bone. You know what I mean?
Sure, I totally know.
Kinda,
It
it's
fits
not-
nicely on your forearm. Like
yeah, it's not oversized and stuff like that. And then
you really need like a femur, big femur that people would carry around like a club.
So we actually do have a cow femur. I have not molded it yet, though.
Oh, really?
So I will be adding a cow femur. pretty soon.
Get
So
on your
these
mailing
are
list.
our stingray barbs. Let me see if we can get focus on there.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. Yeah, they've got this sort of serrated edge on them. They are actually kind of pointy. And these are excellent for armor. I've got them here on this gauntlet, or not
Love
gauntlet, bracer. And then you can see them back here on
Yeah.
the shoulder pauldron there too. They have this really nice effect. Just very spiky and dramatic. And, you know, actors love drama. And so I love these for that.
I think those would look awesome on like a crown.
Yes. Yeah. Just kind of.
Yeah,
I agree
exactly.
with that.
All right, Chris. I was about to do that. I do want to talk about your costumes, but you see Chris is forcing us back into a sponsor break. Let's see who else we want to hear from tonight. Hit it, Chris.
In the entertainment world of haunted attractions and theme parks, VFX Creates is a leader in Q entertainment, promotional tools, startle and scare props, animated characters, and more. Amazing VFX products are literally all over the world, scaring, entertaining, and promoting attractions. These versatile creations receive so much attention when used. They went from being just scare products to being utilized as extremely successful marketing and promotional tools. This is why the return on investment with VFX products is so high when these dynamic tools are used to their fullest potential. The Attack Line. The Attack Line is an ever-growing line of life-size puppets that look as if they've jumped on you and refuse to let go. These realistic puppets are designed to be highly detailed, extremely durable, lightweight, as comfortable as possible to wear, and easy to operate. A fake fist has been added to create the effective illusion of seeing an entire person, which makes onlookers wonder how the zombie is moving. Is it real?
Oh, we love them.
We do too.
All right, tell us about the armor that is sitting there behind you.
Okay, so these are our shoulder pauldrons. Let me grab this guy right here.
What is that word you used?
Pauldron.
Pauldron. I am not
Yes.
good with my like medieval armor. vocabulary.
That's okay. I can do it for you. Yes. So this is one of our shoulder pauldrons. This is an unstained leather. I actually really like the unstained leather because it gains stain and age as you wear it, so it just looks even more like natural and nasty and stuff like that. Personally.
Sure.
So yeah, we've got a few different variations. This one has the 3 skulls here in the center, and we can do those bloody as well if you want. And then of course our crown of stingray barbs. We've also got options that have mandibles at the top instead of the stingray barbs, and some leather spike studs, stuff like that. But they are fully adjustable, and we have a few different sizes as well to make sure that it fits you properly. But it just kind of rests on the shoulder, and then now you're set for battle.
That's right.
To do battle with the.
And it looks like these can be custom made as well. You make all of these?
Yes, we make all of these. I make all of the patterns for the leather. We do all of the leather work ourselves in-house. It's all hand stitched.
I was going to ask. That'd be a heck of a sewing machine to be stitching through that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one day, but that's we're not doing it right now.
No, those are expensive.
You ever find a sewing machine that will like sew your cast bones on? I want to know about it.
All right.
I want to know about it too. So if you find out,
I promise.
Yes. So we've got the shoulder pauldrons. We've got the bracers. And these come with either the stingray barbs or the femur. You can mix and match as well. We've got this red leather, the unstained leather, the dark brown leather, and I actually just had a custom order for black leather. So I'm probably going to start adding black leather as an option as well. I've had a lot of requests for that.
we have played with different techniques to color leather as well. So we've worked with we've made one blue. We haven't we haven't shown it yet just because it's not as solid as we would like it to be. But there are a lot of colors that we would be able to do. So if you're curious about that, we'd be more than willing to give it a shot. And we'll let you know if it's going to work or not.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want something custom, we can absolutely do something custom that has specific species of skulls on it, or if you're wanting a certain number, if you want it like completely covered, whatever, just shoot us an email or something like that with your thoughts, and we can make it happen for sure.
We do have a basic listing on our website as well for like basic customization with them, like how many skulls, how stingray barbs.
Yeah.
But if you want something like special to you, aside from what skulls or how many, we will definitely discuss that.
Mhm.
We absolutely love doing the custom orders.
That's
And
awesome.
typically, the price is based on the amount of skulls, the amount of things that are on them, rather than it being a custom order. It's more of just what we're using on it.
Yeah. Jennifer Killian wants to know, what animal skulls are you looking for so that she can be looking for it in the future?
So we did just do the coyote, although he's not listed yet, so we will have him available. I also yes, so there's the coyote skull. I also just picked up a ram skull, and so
Do you have it handy? Like, could we see that?
No,
Does
it's
it have the
actually-
horns and everything?
It does have horns. It's in the molding process right now, so it's kind of half covered in clay.
Yeah.
So I'm molding the horns separately, so I will have the horns able to be used separately, and then on the skull as well. We did also pick up an Alaskan wolf.
Ooh, how big is that compared to
The
like a
Alaskan wolf
coyote?
is about the same size as the black bear. It's just
Wow.
kind of,
A little bit wider.
Yeah.
It's about like that much wider.
it's a different shape in through here as well, but
Uh-huh.
it's about the same length and overall size. So that one's gonna be pretty awesome. I have a gold. I-
Jason Gotzi, you have a goat skull on your head, or are you offering to let them borrow it? Tell us more. Put it in the comments.
We, as far as we've actually had a lot of people offer to loan us skulls. That's something that we have decided that we won't allow, because a lot of people are sentimentally attached to their skull collection, and we can't always promise that it's going to come back in the same condition.
Just
So-
because they are so fragile.
Yeah.
And the molding process.
So we'd rather that burden be on us than somebody else.
So if you want to sell us a skull or give us a skull, that would be super awesome.
I'm a little attached to this one right now.
We'll try to give it back as it was.
We will do our best.
Gently
I have
used.
a broken nose.
It wouldn't be the first time. I get it.
Yeah, so the wolf, and then actually I did also pick up recently a black bear and a wolf paw. So it's the articulated toe bones and claws. And
Ooh,
so
cool.
we'll have sort of the paws available at some point as well.
These do
Yeah.
take. We're speaking about it now, but these do take significant amount of time
Right.
to make those molds. So it might, this might be something that you'll see next year.
Because it's
Sure,
also in between us trying to make product for shows, and so I unfortunately, sadly, cannot spend all of my time making molds.
What? I mean, if you
I
did that, then you would never sell them, and like
Exactly.
a business cannot survive that way.
But yeah, so we do have quite a few lined up in our queue right now.
You just segued so beautifully into upcoming shows. What shows do you have upcoming? Where can people find you if they're headed to a show soon?
So actually, at the end of this month, May 28th, we are doing the Oddities and Curiosity show in Milwaukee. I actually, unfortunately, will not be able to go. Michael is doing that one for me. Saturday, June 25th is going to be the Oddities and Curiosity show in Kansas City. And then July is kind of our ridiculous month.
Yeah.
So July 8th through the 10th is the Haunters Against Hate event 2. And so we will
Kentucky?
do that one.
In Kentucky.
In Kentucky, yes, in Louisville. And then the following weekend is the Texas Haunters Convention.
Yes.
Yes.
Chamber of Haunters official convention.
So we will be doing that one. That's about an 11-hour drive for us. So that's a bit of a trek, but we get down there and it's always a good time. And then the following weekend after that, we are doing the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in St. Louis, our hometown.
Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
And then we don't have anything until November. So, which will be
Well,
nice. Bit of a break.
haunt season and all that.
Exactly. So,
What are you guys still haunting? Will you have a busy haunt season this year, or are you really focused on Panic Mechanics?
We fortunately, a lot of our sales happen before haunt season begins, and that it slows down in that time frame. What's really nice about not having a haunt is we try to go to as many haunts as we can. Last year we hit up 6 or more.
Yeah, at least.
And I mean, we traveled 5 or 6 hours for some of them.
So it's honestly really nice because we actually get to enjoy haunted houses.
that is definitely the hardest part for me. I spend so much time building, I don't get to go enjoy at all during the season.
Right. Exactly.
We've definitely talked about doing haunts again one day, but it is really nice to be able to see what other people are creating.
Sure. Have you ever seen your products in one of the haunts you're visiting? Do you ever like walking through like, hey, that's one of ours?
I feel like
we have not.
We did.
Well, we haven't seen any of what we're selling here, but what we have seen is when our haunted house shut down. Like I said, we built most of the stuff in there, and we ended up selling it off. And we went through one haunt, and it was like almost every room had something of ours. It was really exciting.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was also like we made that dummy. Like that was our dummy. We made that guy. I remember that.
Props never die. They just moved to a new haunt.
Nope. So that was kind of neat.
Shadows of Fear, you came late. What did you miss? You missed everything. They have been showing. Panic Mechanics is here showing off all of their really cool, super hyper realistic resin animal skulls that are for sale on their website, panicmechanics.com, as well as armor and all kinds of other cool stuff. Bring out the gooey one again. Show off. I love the gooey. The gooey is my favorite.
Go ahead and grab that.
I'm definitely putting a gooey in my haunt next year.
I'm
putting a furry gooey in my haunt next year. Yeah. But you've got merch on your website too. I think I see one of the shirts back behind you.
We do.
Talk a little about the merch.
So we've got the fox skull. There we go.
Yeah.
We've got the fox skull here. I love him because he's just kind of ghostly. I don't know. It's just sort of eerie and fun. We do have the Forever Together foxes. Little heart one. I love them too. And then I do also do these guys. These are my Pride Bat t-shirts.
I love the Pride Bats. Those are amazing.
And I've got a variety of different flags, and $5 from every one of these Pride Bats t-shirts goes towards Haunters Against Hate. And then we also have this one here. If you collect skulls, you know.
It's always a raccoon. I saw that on the website and literally started laughing. It was
That's our badass. I agree.
Oh, I freaking love it.
Yes.
Oh, where are we? What have we forgotten? We haven't talked about your social media. If people want to find your website, find your social media, find out more about you, ask you questions, commit or get a custom order ordered, where do they find you?
So our website is panicmechanics.com. Pretty easy. There's also a little pop-up whenever you go to our website that asks if you want to join our mailing list. Yes, thank you. Mailing list. And we basically just send an email whenever we're doing another show or whenever we have a new species that's available on the website. Facebook is The Panic Mechanics. Instagram, Panic Mechanics, and TikTok, Panic Mechanics. And I monitor all of those, so you can send me messages through those as well, or you can just email us directly at thepanicmechanics@gmail.com.
Nice and easy to remember. I love it.
I tried to keep it simple.
I tried, but social media just kept jerking us around. It got crazy, and
that's why
I hope to fix it.
In front of a few of them.
That's a good idea. I like it. All right, let's hear from one more sponsor, and then we will wrap up here. Hit it, Chris. All right. Thanks, Chris.
All right.
There was one more item we have not talked about that I saw on your website, and I have to ask about the staffs.
Oh, that's wonderful because we realized we forgot to talk about them, and Michael went and grabbed some.
Timing.
They're hard to get into the screen's view.
There we
Oh,
go.
let me make you big again.
There we go. All right. Yes, so we do have staffs as well, and these are also customizable like our armor is. They come with different species on the top, and they come with either the fox femur or the feather cluster here. And you can pick your species, you can pick what's hanging, and you can pick the color of the wrap. And then again, if you want something completely customized for your own personal character, we can definitely do that for you as well. I love the staffs. The staffs are just such a great presence.
And,
you know,
and like they're just as hefty. You bang them around on the ground, like they've got some weight to them.
well, it's real wood, so it's a real wood branch that we use for these. So it's not PVC or anything like that. So it's got, you know, it does have some heft to it. It's got some presence while you're walking, and you can actually use it to kind of lean on and stuff like that as well, for sure.
What do those run? What's the cost?
We'll get back to you on that.
Oh no!
According to your website, they start at 95.
I remember. Yeah, it's if you get it with the feather, it's 95. If you get it with the femur, it's I think 110.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. I also remembered that we forgot one other thing.
Ooh, do tell.
Candle holder.
What?
Yeah. So these are our candle holder skulls, and these actually have real candles. So this is, you know, so we've got the real wax strip happening coming down.
Love it.
Which is such a great effect as well. The bear has 3 candles that stick in it, and so these are just a wonderful ambiance. And I actually just like them on my dining room table whenever I'm feeling, you know,
Yeah, throw a party.
like having
Absolutely.
a little dinner party kind of thing. We are also working on making these LED as well.
That was my next
We
question.
can have not real flame versions of them, so we should have those fairly soon as well. We've been actively working on that because, again, I have very high standards. I want to make sure that they look real. And they're
Not being
durable.
a perfectionist.
Yeah, and you're not gonna have to worry about the, you know, the candle part snapping off or anything like that. So, but
I
yes,
appreciate that. Making it customer proof. Again, I appreciate the thought process. So I wanted to ask, what
Yes.
is the most creative use of one of your skulls that either someone has told you about how they use it or something you've seen?
Ooh, that's a good one. I've seen some really amazing headdresses
Ooh.
made with some of them, like where they just put like the bobcat right here in the center of the headdress with feathers coming out, and it was like this feather mohawk thing that went down. It was really cool. I still want to know about that beaver glove.
I wanted to ask if that was
what
Patrick Voss. Like, was it Patrick Voss coming up and trying to turn your skulls into puppets?
I think I would have recognized him, but yeah, I do want to know what happened with that. That was an interesting idea. Oh, we recently had I had a guy ask me to just buy the mandible from the bear.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, sure, whatever. And then he came back a few months later and sent me a picture. He's a knife maker, and he had used the bear mandible on the handle of the knife, and it was like,
There's a knife too.
That's so cool.
cool.
That looked really neat.
It was awesome. I loved it. So that's probably the most creative uses I've seen.
We do have
Yeah.
a photographer in, is it Germany? That
Yeah,
she uses our skulls in a lot of her shoots,
Uh-huh.
which is a lot of fun because she's a very creative person and
They're
does
beautiful.
a lot of really dark cemetery vibe photo shoots.
Yeah,
like-
yeah.
So stunningly beautiful.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
And,
You
and
don't
just,
have her social media, do you?
if I got her, I shared her stuff on Facebook and Instagram. It's
Okay,
been
perfect.
probably a month or two since the last photo shoot that she did. But if you scroll back, you can find them.
I'm definitely going to be doing that. Thank you.
They're super cool.
We
Yeah.
have seen a couple of our bears mounted above, was that like a teepee?
Yeah, it was like a little
Ah,
like a hut. I think the scene was kind of a
like a yurt.
like an Alaskan wilderness type thing, and they
Yeah,
had
yeah.
as like the entryway onto this little hut thing. That's cool.
I like it. What
Yeah.
do you like? What do you have you always wanted to see done with them that you haven't yet?
Thoughts?
That's
He's
I like
got-
making you think.
what I would really like to see is somebody just making kind of a mountain out of them. So like
Ooh,
a nice large pile in a corner.
yeah.
That's always been my dream. Like I hope we have such an abundance that we just put them in a pile in the corner and leave them there all year round.
Yeah.
Right before you head to a show, you should just do that like over in the corner and take some pictures.
All right. Yeah, just pile of dead animals.
Pile them. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and my opinion, Hall of Fame or something on your website, get like customer shots, get customers to send you pictures of how they used them, put it on your website. Good advertising there.
Yeah. Hey, by the
I
way,
enjoy it.
if any of you have bought our stuff and have used it, send me a picture. I would love to see it.
Yes. And it might even go on her website.
Yes. If I get enough photos from customers, I absolutely will do a little like a little carousel of
Yes. That's what I love it. I love it. We've got just a few minutes left. If you have any questions for them, please dump it in the chat. We will squeeze it in here in our last few minutes. I want to ask real quick. I see a couple of like the witch hat, the wanderer hat up on your website. Do you guys make those as well?
Yes. Yeah, I'm actually also a seamstress.
Just skills all over.
She really does. She also she does all of our graphic design work. She built our website.
Yeah, I'm a graphic designer.
She's very well rounded when it comes to the arts.
And it seems like all the skills that you would need to make this work, you have them.
Yeah, well, no. My major skill right here is math. This is my math machine right here. All my numbers and make sure that we actually make a profit.
Yeah. The business and the art. It's a perfect pairing.
Yes, exactly. So yes, I do. I make the hats as well. I've kind of a little thought in the background for some more costuming. I'm gonna hold off on revealing that for now.
Oh, you can't do that to me.
Yes,
You can't do that to me.
I'm
You're
sorry,
forced
we're gonna have to leave a little cliffhanger. But I do have a few thoughts for some costuming as well beyond just the leather armor. And it's one of those things. We've got so many things that we're trying to get done.
Mhm.
That I would like to get to it soon, but it's probably not going to happen this year.
Sure.
I want to get a few more species up first, so that we've just got a slightly broader variety of the different skulls. And then once we've got that kind of a little bit more filled out, then I'm probably going to dive a little harder into the costuming.
Sure. I meant to ask earlier, how long has Panic Mechanics existed? How many years have you been doing this?
I looked it up recently.
It's like 6.
No, it's more than that. It was, I think we started in 2016. So that is 6, isn't it?
Yeah.
See, math. This is my math guy. So yeah, I guess it's been 6 years.
6 years, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think is the I don't know, most shocking thing you've learned in that 6 years? What surprised you about this?
Well, one of the things that surprised me the most was that for our products was the extent that this product could go, because we started designing them for the haunted houses, and then we realized that they could also very easily be used in education.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
And we did one outdoor event in St. Louis that was just a mishmash of different artists. Let me try that again.
Okay, it's okay. We're only live.
Anyway, it was kind of a variety of different things. And we had a couple of school teachers come up to us and start talking to us about our products. And as soon as they started talking to us, I was like, this makes perfect sense. Because when you're in a classroom and you're learning about biology, they usually have these in a cabinet against the back wall behind glass that you can't touch.
Yeah.
This way, students can actually handle them, really look close at it,
Pass it around.
and it's not going to damage it.
Mm-hmm.
Stick their fingers in eye holes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Exactly. But it is actually, it makes sense because a lot of learning is tactile.
Sure.
You want to use your hands. You want to get your hands on it. And so it made perfect sense to us. And we've actually started looking into that more.
Yeah.
Looking into selling to educators a little bit more as well. Because I know I always wanted to handle the skulls in the classroom and you never could. And it was sad,
Seriously.
depressing. So yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's so cool. I had another question that came to me in the middle of that, and then it's
You
okay.
threw you off again.
That's fine. We are about 5 minutes. We got about 5 minutes left. Normally at this time, Doug would butt in and make some sort of announcement or anything. Chris, is there anything that you need to jump in and say before we run out of time? Crickets. Yeah, perfect.
There we go.
Yeah, this is the upcoming Haunt Masterclass schedule. It is, of course, right now, May 12th. We're here with Panic Mechanics, Aaron and Michael McCann. Next week, Tayan Poplin of Project Backfire, youngest vendor to ever vend at Transworld, as well as the Rising Star Award winner at Fear Expo, will be here talking about all of their products. And then May 26th, we'll have Clay, I want to say Wagner, from Jelly Ball coming in to talk about Jelly Ball. I don't know how familiar any of you are with Jelly Ball. I was not before I got to Fear Expo, but it's kind of like paintball, but it doesn't hurt. It's a lot of fun. Awesome way if you're looking for other ways to get some money into your haunt. Jelly Ball may be a good way to do it. So make sure you come back every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Do the math for the rest of the country. We'll bring the engineer back. But we go live every Thursday night, 8 p.m. on Facebook, and it streams to a whole bunch of other places as well. It's about time to wrap up. So one more time, give us a quick shout out for all of your social media, your website, where people can find you.
Absolutely. And I know it says Aaron Murphy. That's actually my maiden name, and that's totally fine. It's Aaron Murphy McCann now. So it is panicmechanics.com. That is our website. Our social media, Facebook is The Panic Mechanics at facebook.com or /facebook.com. Instagram is just Panic Mechanics. TikTok is also just Panic Mechanics. And then if you would like to just send us a direct email for any custom orders or you just want to chat, whatever, thepanicmechanics@gmail.com.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Aaron, Michael, thank you so much for coming out and talking to us about all of your awesome products, giving us a little insight into the process and all of the effort that goes into making it just absolutely perfect. I had a lot of fun tonight. I hope you did as well.
We absolutely did.
Thank you very much for having us.
Absolutely. And everyone, I have, of course, Keone Hutton from the Haunting You podcast. You can find us at www.hauntingyou.com. That is with just the letter U. And you can find all of our social media off of there as well, since, social media likes to jerk me around and not let us have the same thing for everyone. So go to our website and it's way easier to find us that way. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again next week.
Thanks, guys.